And now, around the world and around the corner, it's the David Bowers Awards, bringing the best in indie music to millions of listeners worldwide with your host, the David Bowers. We've got a fantastic lineup of guests, our entire crew here at the Asylum, and me. I'm John Bon Jovial. And now, here's the voice of indie music, the David Bowers.
Yes, I am, and thank you so much there, the legendary John Bon Jovial, folks. So glad to have you all with us today, John Bon Jovial, you included. We've got a big, super-packed show today.
Thank you so much, David.
You're very welcome. With a lot of music and a lot of other stuff to get to, so we're going to get right into it. First off, I want to thank our house band, Titty Bingo, for their theme music. If you haven't, go check them out, tittybingo.com. You'll like it. They do some great down-home rock and roll that you'll love. And also want to mention our friends at Rochester Free Radio, WRFZ FM 106.3 in Rochester, New York. And they are our flagship station. They carry us every Saturday at noon. And we want to mention to you that they're going to be doing a fundraiser, a radiothon Labor Day weekend to raise money to support the station, pay the bills, and keep Rochester Free Radio free, so you don't get a whole lot of those messy commercials. You know those. You know what commercials are. Well, you don't get a lot of them on RFZ FM, and that's why. So they're going to be doing a radiothon Labor Day weekend. How they support the stations, and they'll be using donations from that weekend for, support the station, upgrades, and all of that stuff. And they will continue free radio by running as much of their regular programming as possible that weekend, with occasional cut-ins to remind listeners, but hopefully not those, not those 5-minute public service announcements that you get on other telethons and radiothons, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean, don't you, John Bon Jovial?
Please give us money. No, they don't do that.
No,
NPR does that, but WRFC does not do that. They're very tasteful and classy about it because they recognize the fact that people are tuning into them because it's not the same old crap that you hear on these other silly rock and roll radio stations with 5 car dealers screaming bloody murder at you, or if you take this drug, it may fix you, but you'll die from the horrible side effects. No, they don't do that.
Absolutely.
They do it very nicely. So if you guys can, we would really appreciate it if you would make a donation to the good folks of WRFC Radio Free Rochester, because they really, really are good people, and they're providing a great service.
And you can catch them online at rochesterfreeradio.com. Check them out, and if you can, give a listen Labor Day weekend, and send them a donation if you can. Every penny is appreciated. We've got 3 guests here today this week. A lot of music, as I said, so we're going to get into it right now with our first guest, Mr. Stephen Kay, and here is his tune that he actually introduced us to the last time he was on the show. It's called Second Fiddle.
Here I am, second fiddle again. Checking Instagram.
Oh, yeah. There he is, Stephen K. He's country to the bone, and that's a song that just about every guy who's ever gotten the wrong treatment from his gal could relate to, and we're going to bring the man in here right now to sit and talk with us for a couple. Come on in here, Stephen, and say hello.
How you doing, everybody?
Doing
glad
great,
to be here
Steve.
with everybody today.
And we're glad to have you here with us again. We've got one major.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. I know we got one major subject that I want to touch on before we let you go, but just for the people that may not know you too well, tell us a little bit about Stephen K. Now, I know you've been playing and performing since you were, about the age of 6, if I remember correctly. And you've got some pretty strong feelings about country music. Tell us about your feelings for country music.
And country music has been a part of my life since I could walk. You know, it's something that I love. It's something I believe in. And, you know, country music is one of those things that needs to go back to country music, in my humble opinion. You know, and I try to keep as much of that into my music as I can, that traditional country with a little bit of an edge to it at times, but we got to have that traditional country in that music at all times.
John Bon Jovi, did you have something you wanted to jump in here
No,
with?
I just wanted to do a big righteous amen to that statement because, you know, both you and I, you know, we jocked country music, traditional country music for years.
Yeah, I was doing country music when country music wasn't cool.
We both were, and I tell you what, I
was in country radio back in the 60s.
When you got a song, when you got a song where you can cut the syrup with a knife, now that's country.
Oh, man.
Well, that's a fact.
Man, that's true.
Now, when I refer to my beginnings in country radio back in the 60s, I was fortunate that I was right on the cusp in the mid-60s when country was reestablishing itself as, you know, acceptable to the masses. And as a matter of fact, it cost me a great job, I think, because I had an offer to leave the station I was at to go into another station across town, and because they were going to switch from middle of the road to country. And I didn't go because, well, I had a solid position where I was, and I didn't really know if they were going to make it. And a year later, they were number one in the market. So I missed out on that one. But, hey, we digress again. Steve, tell us a little bit about where you are now. I mean, you're physically out of where?
I'm out of Pendleton, Oregon. Actually sitting here on my ranch right now talking with you guys.
Awesome. Gee, I wish I was sitting on your ranch talking with you, but since we aren't. Now, you are obviously very deeply entrenched in country music. Are you doing, now that we can do this a little bit now, are you doing any live appearances?
I am. I've got a huge Veterans Benefit and Music Festival coming up September 4th here in Pendleton with the Gary Sinise Foundation. Lots of top talent coming into town. I'll be headlining this. Going to be fantastic.
I'm glad you brought that up because that is the very important thing I wanted to be sure and cover, but I wanted to give the folks a chance to get to know you a little bit too. But yes, please, I know you've got this big veterans benefit coming up. Please take some time, tell the folks about it. Tell us, if you can, who's going to be on the chart for it or on the show, on the bill, and just pitch it. This is your stage. Go sell it.
I will pitch it for you. What we've got is September 4th. I've got Veterans Benefit and Music Festival coming up here in Pendleton, Oregon. It will be at Heritage Station, which is a landmark here in Pendleton, Oregon. Dual stages. I've got a mixture of music coming in for this. I've got the premium rock band out of Tri-Cities, Washington, Jagged Edge, coming in. I've got the premium blues band out of Washington coming in, the Von Jensen Experience. And I've got a premium solo act out of Eastern Oregon. His name's Steve Campbell. He does Americana. I will headline this event with country music, and we're going to make it country all the way, but I wanted to make sure that there was a little bit of music for every taste as we bring this in for our service members, both new and old, that are going to be there, because we're going to have a bunch from the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the National Guard, the Marine Corps, the Army, all of them. They're coming in. I've got World War II vets coming in on this. And the really cool thing is, I had a frog in my throat. The really cool thing about this is, guys, is I am going to get to perform my brand new single that will be fresh off the presses. I'll be with Doc Holliday and Sony Nashville at the world famous Sound Kitchen. Doc Holliday is a Hall of Fame record producer. He's going to be producing my new single and my new album, and I'll have the Nashville A-Team behind me on this, doing all the musical accompaniment. So This is going to be hot. I got a lot of big things coming up, and I love the fact that I'm going to be able to do this for our veterans.
We are all so behind you on that, and I know the veterans groups are very thankful for you. Now, I didn't catch it. If you did mention it, I want you to mention it again so people know for sure and can write it down so that they don't forget. Give us the dates and times for this event.
September 4th in Pendleton, Oregon, at the Heritage Station Museum, from 1 in the afternoon till 7 at night. We're going to have music. We're going to have food vendors. We got alcohol vendors. We've got everything coming in on this. We're going to have the 60-foot American flag strung between 2 fire trucks, the whole 9 yards for this.
Awesome.
And it's going to be big.
It sounds like it, and we wish you all the very best. And hopefully you'll be able to come back with us with some stories about how things went. John Bon Jovial, I know you just want to jump in here, so go for it.
Yeah, just a quick thing here, Stephen. I want to backtrack a little bit and go on back to the song that we just played, Second Fiddle. You know, it's got a good country swing song to it. Sound to it, and very danceable, I think. And it the first impression that I have of it after listening to it is that I wonder what it made me think. I can't even talk today. What it made me think of was Tanya Tucker sang a song called the San Antonio Stroll. Now, totally different. Totally different beat. Totally different piece of production, but I listened to this song and I'm thinking to myself, is that what she was talking about? Because I could just see my wife and I getting out there and dancing on the floor and just having a good old time with that.
Oh, and it is. That's what that song